Hey traders, it's Matt and JC with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you Vwapvision's Stock Talk Weekly Review.
It's where we take a look at the volume weighted average price to make sense of this crazy market. So let's get to it, Matt. It was a heck of a week. Let's talk some stocks.
All right.
Well, Matt, it was quite the week. We're going to just take a look at some weekly charts first, and then we'll dive back into the daily charts when we start looking forward. But looking back, the green zone did exactly what green zones do. They set up, they blasted right out, and rallied right up. So the S&P 500 had a solid 5.2% gain for the week.
All
The
right.
Nasdaq Composite up a solid 7% for the week. Both of these indexes are trading well above their all-time high VWAPs now, so we're comfortably in a green zone. The small caps actually traded above their VWAP for the first time since going back to February. So we're very close to firing on all cylinders green zone, which is very exciting. The mid cap S&P 400, again, a nice strong rally up 4.9%. It too is above its VWAP. It actually broke above and stayed above that point. Bonds, which were a little bit of a concern for the week, tended to find a little bit of a floor. Rallied up Thursday, sold off a little bit. They opened up strong, but sold off a little bit as the day progressed. But still, we want to see the bonds settle down. It'll be interesting what happens this week with Moody's downgrading U.S. debt. So if bonds continue to sell off, that could be pretty difficult for the market to handle. Poor timing, really, because we were just starting to get rolling. So we'll see if there's
Yep.
any. We'll see. Well, this is just going to test the strength of this move. It looks really strong. Individual stocks are looking great. I have belief that it's not going to last long, simply because there's a lot of the moves we're seeing on a weekly basis now. So let's just take a look at some of our recent breakouts. DeFi Development was up 109% for the week. This was one of our breakouts a couple of weeks ago. Again, it was a little bit too volatile for my personal taste. I could have position sized around that with the ADR. However, I didn't, and obviously now I'm wishing I would have. But heck of a move from DFDV. HIMS up 24.44% for the week. Delcath Systems up 15%
Uh,
for the Landbridge up 20% for the week. Argan up 10% for the week. Spotify, this wasn't strong for the week, but on the week during the weekday, totally it shook out and then recovered, did a three and go signal. So that could be an additional add-on for Spotify there. Zscaler, very strong week for Zscaler, up
wow.
7.9%. Robinhood up 13%. Roblox up 13%. NIAGEN Bioservices, NAGE, up 22%. HEICO up 5%. Netflix up 4%. Palantir up 12%. Dave, my good friend Dave, up 11%. Carvana up 11% on the week. Paymentus up 5.6%. Amphenol up
Wow.
7%. Samsara up 9.5%. TransMedics up another 9% after its 25% gain the week before. And then Rubrik following it up with almost 11% gain for the week. So very significant gains for some previous breakouts. All pretty much all occurred since the green zone. So green zone's doing what green zones do. They're giving you the opportunities to buy setups, and those setups are working. So that's exactly what we want. Again, you look on the daily chart, a nice strong gain there. Now, moving forward, what are we looking at? We did have some breakouts Thursday and Friday. We had a plethora of breakouts. However, not a lot of them followed through, which is kind of fits the pattern. The breakouts that occur as the early ones are really running, they tend to test a little bit more. They find their footing and then they'll kind of run. I've kind of noticed that as a pattern, particularly when you get big batches of breakouts. They tend to shake out a little bit more. With the Moody's downgrade, with the futures, the way that they reacted Friday, the way all the bids and asks are looking right now, the market's gonna open up down about 1%, if not more. So what we're gonna look for is the immediate support at the 5-day average, where if we bring that up, is going to be right there. I believe it is at 5,800, 5,880. So we're at 5,958. So we've got a little bit of room there. Other than that, you're going to want to look for the low of 57.86 from the big gap up at the beginning of the week. we're going to want to see that hold. And then probably the 20-day moving average, because the 20-day is what provided a lot of resistance during the downturn. Broken resistance tend to provide support. You could see that already. It provided support back here on April 30th. So that is significantly lower than where we're at. That's down to about 56.87. So my hope is we find support at the low of 55.74, if not the 5-day average. We will get some shakeouts. Some of the recent breakouts we'll test, but what it's going to do is just set them up even better. Kind of similar to what Cal-Maine did. So we're going to, yep. So Cal-Maine tried breaking out a couple of times. It failed a couple of times. But then it set up again, wouldn't give up, higher lows, and then it broke out again on Friday. So that's kind of what we're going to expect from some of the newer breakouts, some of those moves. So then they can just do what DeFi Development did. So as always, Matt, for our signals, you can find us where at
our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. Now, it's not just daily buy and sell signals from our algorithm. We also have some educational videos on there. You can see our podcast, Vwapvision Stock Talk, for those of you that are following us here. But you also get a really nice little succinct email reminder. Hey, here's the arrows for tomorrow. Hey, new things are being posted. Hey, get in here and talk to us. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to build that community and make it better. So subscribe over at Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. If you're new to this and kind of curious, definitely check out who we are and what we do at Vwapvision.com. That's VWAPvision.com. And follow us on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. We're always coming up with some new things on those platforms just to say hi, some teasers. And it's a great place for you to interact with both JC and I directly. And last but not least, for those of you listening on Spotify, for those of you watching on YouTube, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments. If any of these are looking like, nope, can't do it, that's way too volatile, gonna crash, I have no confidence in that trade, this one actually looks amazing, I think you're undervaluing something. We want to know your opinions. It's what makes this fun. It's what makes it exciting for us. So make sure that you follow us on every platform you possibly can, and just thank you for digesting our media wherever you get it and consume it. That being said, Jace, happy trading.
Happy trading, Matt. We'll see you during Arrow Review.
See you then.